Hello, welcome to Healing with podcast. I am Marissa McDevitt, your host, mindset coach, mentor, and founder of Healing Center. Tired of all the BS? So was I. This podcast is my raw, unfiltered take on life, sharing my personal experiences, lessons, and healing practices that helped me break free from the cycles that no longer serve me. I'm just an average woman who decided to stop settling and start speaking up. Here we dive deep into the messy, beautiful, and sometimes painful realities of life, business, and relationships. No fluff, no judgment, just real talk, real growth, and real transformation. This is a safe space for anyone, women, men, and all the beauties in between. So who's ready to raise their standards, heal, and step into their power? Let's learn, grow, and evolve together. Now tune in and let's talk about it. Part 2, are you helping or are you enabling? Part 1 was crazy, deep, so if you haven't listened to that, jump back one episode. Are you helping or are you enabling? All right, addicts, part 2. Are you helping them or are you keeping them comfortable in their destruction? Do you want to save them so badly that you slowly start losing yourself? I've been there. As a daughter, as a friend, as a partner, and as a fixer. We're going to start off by sharing the definition of enabling here because a lot of y'all be enabling and you don't even know it. Or you do know it and you're in disbelief or denial. So here we go. Enabling is repeatedly protecting someone from the natural consequences of their actions in a way that allows harmful behaviors to continue. It often looks like covering up, making excuses, financial rescuing, emotional rescuing, blaming others for them, minimizing their behaviors. Enabling feels like love, but it's actually straight fear. It started when I was a child. At 9 and 10 years old, I was busting mouth pipes, pouring out my mother's wine, taking cigarette out of my mother's hand, wrapping dollar store gifts for my sister, cooking, cleaning, and surviving, and blowing into breathalyzers. When children start parenting their parents, enabling has already begun. As a child, I wasn't enabling, I was surviving. There's a difference, right? But the fact is I was put in these positions around all of this stuff to, in return, have awareness around the difference between enabling, surviving, and helping someone. You cannot save someone who is addicted to their identity. Okay? For example, you're really going to have to listen to episode 1 to understand what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to my parents, because my parents were severely addicted to all kinds of things: drugs, alcohol abuse, toxicity at its finest. But my parents were offered help multiple times by the neighbors, by the school district, by the police. Were offered help. My family offered my parents help. My mom's sisters offered her help. My dad's family offered help. They denied it. Rehab was always on the table. Counseling was always on the table. They denied it. Rock bottom is personal. You cannot drag someone to it. You can present the door, but you cannot make them walk through it. Wow, oh wow, did I know that? Gosh, I have relearned this lesson so many times with trying to help people, on top of myself. When I was a shithead, running around like a muck as a teenager, Thank God I had mentors in my life, because that really kept me away from like prison, I'm sure, or getting pregnant, or I'm sure, all things. But wow, oh wow, have I tried to drag people away from substances, and they just want nothing to do with help, you know? So again, rock bottom is personal. You cannot drag someone to it. You can present the door. You cannot make them walk through it. It's their journey. It will happen on their divine timing, whether you like it or not. How do I know? Because I've been through it. I lived through it. I've seen it. I'm still going through it with friends. Adult enabling. The patterns I've witnessed in my clients, in my friendships, in my relationships, within myself. For example, the partner who pays all the bills while the other person does nothing. And then that partner who pays all the bills is wondering where all the other person's money's going. But they also don't even have a conversation about it. He is enabling that person to not have accountability for money, bills, or structure, right? Okay, here's another one. The girlfriend who funds the addict boyfriend. Vice versa, the boyfriend who funds the addict girlfriend, right? So what does that mean? The girlfriend who funds the addict boyfriend. Well, I had a friend, and because she was afraid of being alone, she knew that her boyfriend was addicted to crack. Instead of getting him rehab, she gives him money for cigarettes. So anyways, in return, if she supplies him with money, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have money, but he still gets cigarettes and still able to buy crack. But he doesn't leave her because she supplies him. So now she is feeling stable for whatever part in her life because she has a person that's not going to leave her. Because if he leaves her, how is he going to pay for his addiction? All right, enabling. The spouse who tolerates jealousy and insecurity. This happens often. Situation was the partner is extremely jealous where they can't even comment on someone on the TV saying, oh, they look good. They can't, they go through each other's phones constantly. They can't be at the bar too late because of their jealousy and insecurity. And then when, shit hits the fan and they get into a fight, well, you're like that. Well, you're like that. Well, we're both like that. So that's how it's going to be. You guys are enabling each other within your insecurities and your jealousy. Well, he doesn't let me do this, but I don't let him do that. But he doesn't let me do this, but I don't let him do that. Toxic enabling. The boyfriend who financially rescues but avoids confrontation. Love that one. Let me just buy her this so I don't have to talk about this. Let me just buy her that so I don't have to deal with that emotion. Right? The friend who blames the world but never takes accountability. We're going to leave it at that. So enabling is not always financial. It's emotional permission. Here's the hardest truth. You cannot heal someone who refuses to see themselves. Trust me. I've tried buying groceries. I've tried paying for rehab. I've tried interventions. I've tried conversations. I've tried emotional labor. But when someone blames everybody else, refuses accountability, rejects professional help, and avoids consequences, they're choosing their own path. So here's a little bit of compassion without self-destruction, right? So I had to learn to plant seeds and then step back. And I've just recently, in the last couple years, learned this with people. Because it's not abandonment. It's not coldness. It's not resentment that you're stepping back, but you're having boundaries, okay? You're saying, I love you, but I will not participate in your destruction. End of sentence, period. I love you, but I will not participate in your destruction. We'll go all the way back to my mother again. Woo. So I remember when my mom died the second time, right? She's died twice. And they brought her back like the where they shock you. I don't know what it's called. And I remember the second time when I walked in on her and she went straight lined on the thing. Like right in the movies, the thing will go like this and then it will go. Then all these doctors rushed in. Her mouth was open. She was dead. I walked in right when that happened. And I just remember I sat outside the hospital room and I prayed and I said, God, if my mom has any chance of living and to rekindle or have any relationship with her daughters, please let her live. But God, if she is done, please take her out of her misery. She's suffered long enough. Please take her if she's done. But if she lives, I will do my part and to be in her life as much as she will in mine. And she lived. And so I made a pact to myself and to God that I would be there for my mother, because there was years that I did not speak to her. And if you listen to the last episode, you would understand why. I had to help feed her. She thought I was her sister for a long time. She thought she was at the dentist when she was at the hospital. She didn't know how to go to the bathroom by herself. She couldn't walk. She was fully like gone. And she slowly started coming back. And she was in, rehab and, I don't even know, physical therapy and all the things, right? And from there, I tried to get my mom more involved with me. She lived with me for a few summers. I got her a job cleaning. I used to live in a big, like a mini mansion in Phoenix with some roommates, and she would come over and I would pick her up and she would clean the whole entire house and we would all pair and she would, make a little extra money and all the things, and I would try to take her to AA meetings and all the things, but she never wanted to go. She did do good sometimes and then she just didn't want to do anything. And it's at a point now to this day where she lives with my grandma, her mother, and she's supposed to be taking care of my grandma, but pretty much all they're doing is coexisting. She does help my grandma out, like cleaning a little bit. I don't know if she cooks much, but she was supposed to. Anyway, she has no ambition. She has no hope. The only thing she wants to do, the only time I ever see my mom light up is if we go to the casino and she gets to drink a little bit and gamble her little bit of money that she has. Okay, so that's just something I had to learn. I had to accept. Because you cannot help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Her sisters have offered help. We've offered to get her back into driving school, to learn how to drive again, to get her license back again. We've offered to get her to help her find a job. She doesn't want to do it. It's out of our hands. So what I learned to do is just step away. I quit visiting her often, go out of my way for her anymore because she doesn't deserve it. If she doesn't even have hope within herself or hope at all, why am I trying? I'm the daughter. For one, I already accepted that she's never going to be a mother to me. I already accepted that I'm never going to have that type of guidance. I moved past that. All I want is for her to have some hope, light herself inside, live life. She has a perfect opportunity to do so, especially dying twice. She could have rebutted her life so amazingly, but she chooses not to. That's not my issue. I can plant the seed. I can show her the door, but I can't make her walk through it, and she doesn't want to walk through it. I have to back away. That's called boundaries. I set boundaries, and wow, it feels so good. My father, I love my father. He's one of my best friends. He's my best friend besides my fiance. I accepted where me and my dad are at. I accepted that. Same thing. My dad has a lot to work on. I've given him doors. I can't make him walk through it. So I had to take step backs multiple times with my dad. I still call him almost every day now, but we've had our ups and downs. And I do believe that this next door I'm showing my dad, he will walk through it. And we're going to be sharing our experiences together through my podcast. So stay tuned because it is possible on the right divine timing, when they're ready, if they want to help themselves, they will. Again, my friend who is extremely dependent on weed has a boyfriend that is addicted to crack, can't hold a job, same thing. We show up, hosted an intervention essentially, have support, friends and family, shows her the door. Hey, better opportunities for you. You're a single mom. You're a mother. Why are you holding yourself in a box and you're keeping yourself at such a low standard when you could let this person go, let him choose his path, and you choose your path for your kid? But she couldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. She lied to all of us, and she still chose to stay in that toxic relationship. But that was another door shown. You have to let them walk through it. She doesn't want to, then that's on them. You want to live this way? That's on them. All you do is pray for a distance. And that's all I've done. I've prayed from a distance. And hopefully they've gotten the help. And I've heard that there was rehab in the picture. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll never know, but it's not my place to know. It's not my life to live. All I know is that I personally have my own boundaries. I personally know that when you get older, your energy, your time is very sacred. And you choose who you want to be around. And I choose to be around like-minded, goal-driven, ambitious, loving, truthful humans. No longer do I want to hang out with drug addicts. No longer do I want to hang out with people with no goals. No longer do I want to hang out with liars. No longer do I want to hang around people who are so full of trauma and they do nothing about it. No longer. That's not the path I choose. There's a situation in my life right now involving someone very close to me, and it's been very hard to witness. This person is navigating a lot of unprocessed trauma, high stress, and patterns that I truly believe are affecting their mental and emotional well-being. From the outside looking in, it's clear they are struggling, and as someone who loves them, I, along with others in their life, try to step in from a place of care and support. We offered resources, we offered help, we offered to walk alongside with them, but they weren't ready to receive it yet. And that's one of the hardest truths to accept, is that you can love someone deeply, you can see what they're going through, but if they're not ready to acknowledge it or seek support, there's nothing you can force. And in many cases, when someone is hurting that deeply, they don't pull people closer. They actually push them away. They become defensive. They create distance. They may even turn against the people who are trying to help them. And not because those people are the problem, but because they're in pain. And that's where the boundaries become necessary. Because at some point, you have to recognize, I can love you, but I cannot lose myself trying to save you. I also want to take a moment to talk about something that's becoming more and more common, and that's the use of prescription stimulants like Adderall. Adderall is often prescribed for focus and productivity, but it's important to understand that it is a powerful stimulant that directly affects the nervous system. And like many substances, when it's misused or taken beyond what the body can regulate, it can begin to have serious effects. Personally, I've witnessed situations where excessive use over time could lead to heightened anxiety, emotional instability, paranoia, and even disconnection from reality. And this isn't talked about enough because in today's world, there's so much pressure to perform, to keep up, to do more, that people override their bodies and their mental health just to function. But at some point, the body keeps score. And when it does, it can show up in really intense ways. This is why awareness is so important, but not from a place of judgment, but from a place of education, responsibility, and care. Adderall is an amphetamine. It is speed. It is one molecule from methamphetamines. Okay? The difference between Adderall and meth is Adderall is created in a lab by scientists and government. Meth is created on the streets with chemicals that should not be going in your body, like battery acid and drain cleaner. Have you ever watched that show? I think it's like Breaking Bad. That's real. Watch that show if you haven't. It's extreme. Because I've lost so many friends this past year over drugs. But it's not my place to tell them what to do. It's their life. It's their journey. It's their contract. They signed their contract to come to this planet and to choose what they want to do in this life. And if that is this path, then that is this path. And whether they choose to get help, great. You know, my path was the same destruction path, and I chose differently. So how do we plant seeds without forcing change? Speak truth once calmly. Offer resources once. Stop arguing. Stop debating. Stop proving. Model a better life. Let natural consequences happen. All of these are so true. They're hitting me so hard right now because this is literally what I've been going through in the last year. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step out of the way. Let them figure it out. Plant the seed. Say, hey, I understand you're not mentally stable. I see that you are using these drugs in a wrong way. Here's some options to get help. Here's some articles. Back off. They're an adult. It's their life, their journey. Let them figure it out. How do we walk away without feeling guilty? This is a hard one. You are allowed to choose peace. You are not abandoning them. You are abandoning their dysfunction. It is their journey. Their journey is theirs. Staying with them doesn't guarantee change. I need to repeat that because a lot of people, a lot of clients of mine, they say, oh, if I stay with them, they're going to change. Oh, if I give them the ultimatum, I'm going to leave or whatnot, and they're going to change. It's not always the case. Leaving doesn't mean you stopped loving them. To me, it almost is a deeper type of love. I did it with my ex-boyfriend of 4 years. Him and I, for example, I just fell out of love with him. We weren't aligned anymore. We both had different goals, different ambitions, and I loved him, but I wasn't in love with him. And I realized that I was holding him back to find someone that actually does love him. And I had to make that decision to leave. It was hard, but it didn't mean that I didn't love him. I wasn't in love with him. stepping away from my friends of 17 years. I knew I couldn't stand in their wedding, staring at a guy who's tweaking on crack and a friend who's lying to everybody around her, including herself. How am I supposed to be a maid of honor for that? I couldn't. So I chose to walk away. Not because I didn't love them, but because I loved them so much that I knew they could change if they wanted to. But it's their journey, and they weren't taking the offer. They weren't taking the help. They weren't taking accountability, and I couldn't be around that. I had to walk away. Some people will not heal in the timeline we hope. Now that is one that is hard for me to learn. I'm a fixer. I constantly want to fix everybody. I constantly want everybody to be healthy and healing and happy. But reality, they might not even be healthy, happy, or drug-free in this lifetime. It might take multiple lifetimes for them to do that. And that is just the way life goes. You will spend more time wasting your time on people who don't want to help themselves when you could be spending all that time on yourself and leading by example. Some people may never choose healing, and that is not ours to control. So, if you are exhausted from trying to save someone, this is your permission to breathe. You are not responsible for fixing grown adults. When they are ready, they will choose differently. And if they never do, you still deserve a healthy life. So again, if this episode resonated with you, you may be carrying codependency, trauma bonds, survivor complex, emotional over-responsibility. And I want to add in this book that I read, especially for this episode. It's called Codependent No More by Melody Beatty. That book is amazing. So inside my soul alignment coaching containers, we work on building boundaries, nervous system regulations, breaking trauma bonds, and choosing aligned relationships. Go ahead and DM me boundaries for more information. Otherwise, check out the link in my bios. It has my coaching form that you can apply for one-on-one coaching, or you can apply for my 6-month soul alignment group coaching that is opening up here soon. The affirmation I want to end on today is, I release the need to save anyone who refuses to save themselves. I can love deeply without abandoning myself. I am not responsible for another adult's healing. I choose boundaries over enabling. I choose self-respect over guilt. And with much love, have a beautiful day.